So I think it is just about time for me to bring all of the stuff from, what is it called? What did I call that thing? Oh, I only sleep at night. Rhino Mountain Camp here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my stuff that I'm probably not going to need along the way, just so I have a nice clear inventory. I will keep those 2 items. In fact, I will eat one now. And I need to double check my grass while I'm here. So is the grass proceeding down? Now these chunks haven't been loaded. I think it is because... So there's 3 blocks now. Where are we in terms of day, by the way? Oh, it is early morning. Early morning means I can go get my stuff and move it here. And then I wasn't necessarily, when I started this series, I wasn't intending to build, hey Salamander Hill, I wasn't intending to build things in order that they're going to be seen in the map. But I just can't stop thinking about the layout of the spawn area and how everything starts. So I am going to do a little bit of work on that in this episode. And then after that, the one that I've been thinking about the most is actually the second to last encounter. That would be the Nether encounter. Although what I may do, now that I just took this path here, I may, whoa, I may lay out my walking path through the map. So I may start with spawn, put a few things there that I can't stop thinking about, and then I may create the walking path through the map, not decorate each area. Okay, good. All that stuff is still there. These are the most important things. So let me do this. Oh shoot, and they're going in reverse order. So then let me do it this way. Boom, boom, boom. We'll put this here as a divider, and then we'll grab those 2. Oh shoot, I needed this axe. Oh, I hope this works. Boom, boom, boom. Book is the divider. Okay, take these chests. These are going to go in my base. This chest is going to stay here. I can't carry all that stuff yet, though. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Okay, well, let's just grab what I can grab. It's going to take me a couple trips here, so I apologize for that. There's not really anything I can do about it. I think I might have seen some duplicate stuff over here. No? Maybe not? Wow. Oh, man, this is going to take a long while. This is going to take a long while. Nothing to be done about it. I just have to do it, and I apologize. So, I think the rest of this video is literally going to be me walking back and forth, which I'm debating if I do a time lapse. I think I will, and I'll have to put something over this that I talk about. Alright, so we've got the time-lapse going in the background, and I have 2 topics that I want to discuss. I think I'm going to try to aim to just talk about one of them here while this is playing. So you can go ahead and watch me go back and forth and move my equipment. You're also going to see me do some other things because, you know, I get distracted pretty easily. One of those things is I'm going to go ahead and kind of reorganize my chests here in the base. I'm going to fix the sheep pen a little bit and just kind of do a couple other little base things. And once this episode is done, next episode we'll get back to typical commentary while I play. So outside of Minecraft, I listen to a lot of podcasts. In fact, I've got my iPhone here, and I'm just going to go ahead and name what I listen to. The Mindcrack podcast. This podcast broke the internet. That's with my really good friends Sean V. Martin, Carter Kalchik. I've got a whole bunch of podcasts from the Frog Pants Network: Current Geek, Autopilot, The Instance, which is a World of Warcraft podcast, Comic Dorks, The Morning Stream, Film Sack, and The Final Score, The Frog Pants Spoiler Show, Nerd Parents. All of those are from the Frog Pants Network, a bunch of really great people. I listen to IGN's Channel Surfing and Keeping It Real podcasts. Of course, I listen to The Shaft, my good friends on the Shaft Minecraft podcasts. Brent, Eric, Maz, Afro Monkey, Once Upon a Time Wes, miss you Wes, but I know where you are. Nintendo Voice Chat, TinyCast, the Dune Saga podcast with DB Moulton, the Landcast, and last but not least, the Yog Pod, which doesn't really have new episodes anymore. My point being, on a couple of these podcasts in the past week, coincidentally, there's been discussion about the character that you play when you're playing a video game. And specifically, they were talking about men who play female characters and females who play male characters. And they talked about does the game that you're playing change it? So, for example, if you're a guy and you're playing Tomb Raider, you're forced to play a female character. But if you're playing something like an MMO, World of Warcraft, you have a choice between female and male. And I guess there's an internet questionnaire that you can answer, and then you answer a bunch of questions, then it tells you about your play preferences. And I was listening to all of this, and I was kind of thinking about, for me, I think it actually depends. Well, actually, let me walk you through the games that I've played over the years where I've actually made a conscious decision or realized that the gender of the character made a difference. So way back in the day, I started on the Atari 2600, where I played games like Adventure, and I was a little dot. And I imagined the dot as a male Robin Hood type character. Even though you didn't shoot a bow, you just had a sword. I kind of pictured this medieval dude in green leather armor. Jump ahead to something like Super Mario Brothers, playing a male character, obviously. 2D side-scrolling platformer game, parkour jumping game, whatever you want to call it. Played a character. Fast forward some more to MMOs. So playing things like Asheron's Call, which is my favorite MMO of all time. I actually should do a whole episode where I talk about that at some point. And anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. Something like Dark Age of Camelot, Warhammer 40k, World of Warcraft. In all of those games, I started off with a male character, and I played a character that was not like myself, but I always wanted to have some quirkiness to them. My longest played character, and I think my favorite of the bunch, was a guy named Broadcloak, who was really named after Martin Broadcloak from Stephen King books. And he had bright red hair, and he was older, probably like in his late 40s, maybe just about to start a little bit of graying, kind of wizened character. He was a fiery mage. Well, then he was an arcane mage, then he was an ice mage, then he was... Anyway, so I played a character, but I also I made a lot of female characters. I made a female dwarf hunter, I played female troll, female tauren. When I play games like MMOs, I don't really care if it's male or female, but I play whatever's in the story. In fact, when I get to let's talk about something like Quake, or let's talk about something like a game I played recently, Heroes and Generals. Let's talk about Minecraft. I play myself in Minecraft. Even when I play a custom adventure map, I'm basically playing myself, playing a character. I will try to understand the story of the map. I will try to play the character that the map maker wants me to play. But I realized this tonight that I'm not really playing that character. I'm playing myself, playing Minecraft, and I'm acting like that character. Well, maybe like the character that the map maker wants me to, but I'm playing myself, and I thought about this, and I realized the question that I don't need to ask is whether I like to play male or female characters, and it's not really a question of whether I like to play a video game and imagine the character as myself or as an avatar. The question is, am I playing a first-person point of view game, or am I playing a third-person game where I can see the character? Doesn't matter how deep the story is, I think the answer is in the point of view of the game. So, how this reflects back on custom adventure maps, I have to put myself in the player's perspective when I'm building a custom adventure map. As you've heard over the course of this series, I think about what is going to visually draw the player's attention to a particular area and or make them head in that direction. Some players are naturally curious and they're going to get distracted. Some players are going to stick to your breadcrumb trail. Some players are going to just go exactly where you tell them. Some players know their north, south, east, and west. But I think a lot of players are really playing themselves, their own level of understanding, their own level of detail. So as I was thinking about this particular custom map, the Color of Infinity that I'm making, I realized I don't want them to play a character that I name. I want them to play themselves, but I still want to give them enough background so that they imagine themselves in that situation. And that is actually a really subtle detail. We talk about a lot of maps. When you talk to map reviewers or people who've played a lot of maps, you'll find that a lot of maps start with this concept of you wake up and you don't know who you are. That works pretty well in Minecraft. A, because the map maker can be lazy and doesn't have to come up with a true motivation, but B, it allows the player, to be themselves and put themselves into that character. Maps that I've played where you're given a specific character, let's say it's an Indiana Jones type character, for example, because I've played maps like that recently, I usually find myself straying more away from what the map maker wants me to do because they have a very ideal in their mind. And even though I love Indiana Jones, I'm just not Indiana Jones, if you haven't noticed. uh, and so this is actually pretty important as a map maker. And I would say if you've ever thought about seriously making maps, maybe just kind of step back and pause this and think about that a little bit, and then let me know in the comments what you think. Because to me, if you're trying to tell the player exactly what to do and how to think, if it doesn't line up with what they've already kind of wanted to do, it pulls them out of the enjoyment of the game. So in a map like this that I'm creating here, I really want to make sure that the player is in control and is able to follow my story without being forced into a character. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. If I didn't, this may be a little bit of a spoiler, but one of the things I was thinking about in the spawn area is to give a pumpkin-headed NPC on a white wool block. And there's a sign above that character's head with a thought bubble that says, hey, that's me standing there. I must still be a little out of it. And then there's a chest with a book in it, or maybe there's a dispenser shooting a book up when you step on a pressure plate. And the book tells you your background. And the background is that you wake up not knowing who you are or how you got here. Then you begin to remember. Actually, this is already written in one of my in-game books, I think. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm doing a transference from the player into a representation of their character, even though they're playing this in first person. And at the end of that book, I think I may instruct the player to break the wool block and take the pumpkin head. And then I've got the scene coming up soon where they look in the mirror and see the guy with the white wool block and the pumpkin head. So now they've identified a particular NPC equals them, but I leave it up to the player, other than the fact that you're an actor in this film crew, I leave everything else about the background and about how the character should act up to the player itself. When I think back on my past custom maps, World Out of Time, you play yourself. The custom map Fear and a Handful of Dust, I actually named you and I tried to make you play a specific character, but the more I think about it, it would actually be more effective if I tone that back and let you play yourself. The superheroes map that I made, you actually play six different characters throughout the course of the map, each with a different superpower. I think I need to go back and rethink about that. Mars mission, you play yourself. You're given the background of the world that you're in, and you know your role in society as a captain or a clone, but you can play that character any way you want. Grinchmas, on the other hand, I narrate the entire map through signs, and you are hearing the story of the Grinch's brother. Spoiler. Oh, that's a big spoiler, but that map's over 2 years old, actually 3 years old now. And because you're being told the story and you're not actually really given much choice of what to do, it's fairly linear, you just follow the story. I think that one I get away with it a little more, and through the narration there are kind of hints that associate you with the character you're playing. So the blue skin, for example. So that one I think is okay. I'm getting away with it a little better because you're really listening to a story. You're not really playing the map. It's played on peaceful. That's another, I think, another factor there. And then there are things like City of Love. You are playing yourself clearly. Upcoming Simburbia map, you are playing yourself as a mayor of a city. And I was just thinking back through this, like most of my good maps, Tiny Minecraft, other maps, you're just playing yourself. I don't force a character on the player. So anyway, I just find that concept fascinating, and it seems like there's one more piece to what I'm trying to get across that I haven't quite figured out yet. Um, something else about the first person playing yourself, and the fact that most of the time when I think of people playing Minecraft, I don't think of them playing by themselves. I think of them playing and recording commentary for YouTube, which is interesting because I would think that the actual number of people who record YouTube for Minecraft is probably less than 20%. Of all the people that have Minecraft, in fact, I'm sure it's probably less than 10%. But when I think about someone playing my map, I think about them playing on YouTube and having that additional layer of commentary on top of what they're playing. So when you're playing Minecraft and you're commentating, you are absolutely playing yourself, and I think it would be even harder to play a character unless you're doing something extreme like a totally focused role play, specific role play with no breaking the fourth wall. So that's what I've been thinking about today, and I think it will help me as I create this map in small ways, but I think it just helps me as a map maker overall in Minecraft. And I hope you enjoyed just kind of hearing my thoughts while I did some menial tasks in the background. And I say next, let's resume a normal Minecraft experience. But thank you for listening. Alright, so you saw me do a lot more than just taking stuff back and forth from camp. I did a little bit of I did a little bit of base reorganization, and I hope you enjoyed the over conversation as well. So I will talk to you next time.